In a grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Which absolutely rules, as it turns out. A spectacular Space Marine 2 set in an excessively bloody and unimaginably cruel universe that is Warhammer 40,000 is the latest video game in a series of those that grant you an opportunity to see the world through the eyes of a really tall person. And this time around, in this installment full of treacherous Xenos being torn apart, blown to bits, burned to crisp and slashed to pieces, you execute all those glorious actions by playing as Demetrian Titus, proud and noble warrior, amidst those that are already considered to be mankind's finest, with the assignment of both the simple and honorable task of being humanity's shield and sword and fist of righteous fury. This game does not shy away from throwing you right into the action. And some quality action it brings. There is this wonderful trend in modern action games, adding elements of rhythm to its core. One moment you're blasting hordes of uninvited aliens with your precious bolt gun. Then there is a blue flash on your screen, your attention immediately brought to this particular, very unlucky insect. And with a press of a button, you perform a parry, which when timed correctly, gives you a window of opportunity and potentially turns your foes into a cherry jam. When it's orange, you dodge, when it's little red dot, you shoot, and when they flicker like a glowing Christmas tree, then it's time to rip and tear. Performing all those actions not only makes you feel like the Emperor's proudest warrior, but also helps you stay in battle for far longer, restoring your armor and HP and sometimes even giving you iframes. When it all finally clicks, all this skull crashing accompanied by the sound of exploding watermelons, you being this incredibly brutal feels like your way of staying alive. You were bred for battle, and this game actually does a great job making you feel like a giant specimen of a square-jawed human clad in the thickest armor and equipped with a weaponry size of an average person of all things. How you remove any obstacle that's in your way by applying the power of the boot. How there is a little earthquake every time you drop from a minor height. Every step of your movement gives you a proper idea of just how much weight is attached to your frame. It's a lot, by the way. If the main goal of this video game has been to immerse you in the life of an Imperium's magnificent son, genetically modified to exterminate waves of its enemies, it does a glorious job. It even has a functioning storyline to guide you through this honorable mission. Now, I may not have been fully upfront with you. Warhammer's setting is not only a testament to resolve and bravery that only human spirit can achieve, but also a reminder of just how far these humans are willing to go in order to achieve their wicked goals. For every moment you feel proud to be mankind's main line of defense, you're twice reminded of all the wrongdoings it inflicts on its own people, and sometimes just plain weird stuff. Like, yeah, I get it, flying little cyborg baby angels are not really alive, but that's an interesting choice of design there. Human flesh is being used for menial work, maintenance of various machines, and sometimes just as glorified hard drive, or soldiers on the front line that act as cannon fodder and are executed with the first sign of disloyalty. Even Space Marines themselves are not immune to some forms of prosecution if there is a reason to question their beliefs. And the thing is, it kind of makes sense, with all the rough history of this universe. All these oppressive institutions of power came to be what they are because this world fucking sucks. It was already overrun by advanced AI. It already faced near extinction by the will of otherworldly powers. What we see now, what we're being part of, is how humanity persists in this age of man that are sure that their evil is the one that is necessary. And Space Marine 2 does a wonderful job at showcasing this grim reality, one that is quite hard to adapt in any media. Twisted pragmatism of Adeptus Mechanicus and devotion to a fold of the Imperial cult. It's all present in a main story arc of this game. Our playable protagonist, John Warhammer, once was falsely accused of corruption by the Chaos, for which he still has suffered dearly from the hands of the Inquisition, later gaining an opportunity to join Deathwatch as a form of penance for his past. Fighting Xenos across the galaxy for nearly a century, Titus was not the one to complain. Another invasion, a fleet of ravenous tyrannies, another vital mission to delay this onslaught at any cost. With a clear idea of what this game is going to be about from the intro, this this mission has been immediately jeopardized and required some swift improv. His whole squad eliminated, but his duty still fulfilled, and his back completely destroyed. Grandpa Titus proudly took off his helmet and was ready for his final battle. A phenomenal display of unimaginable might and centuries of experience, yet he was still dealt a little blow. Thanks to some unknown marine off screen, he got one more chance. Waking up and joining his old chapter, his body stronger than before, as determined as ever, and proving that he memorized his pledge pretty well, he was with the Ultramarines once again, never forgetting his service with the Death Watch. Titus was proud to fulfill his duty as a Blueberry Marine. After a swift meeting with his new squad, he was quickly assigned a mission, and honestly, that is all there is to it. We go for all manner of operations that for 146% consist of never-stopping brutal action. With a variable success, we return to our space cruiser, we walk real slow and real epic, we're quickly assigned a new job, our Scottish captain says that he can spare only 3 men, and we go again. And that's basically what the next 9 to 12 hours of your campaign are gonna look like. And that's not a bad thing. It's a simple story that achieves exactly what it sets out to do, to provide you with plethora of opportunities to shoot and strike some Xenos. It has a number of real tense moments. Character arcs are short, but character growth is present, and maybe there is even a lesson that authors intended to convey. But ultimately, it's just a really bloody and savage experience. Space Marine 2 makes you feel like Warhammer 40,000, and that is the feeling one ought to enjoy. Having variety in enemy ranks in a game that is just a non-stop action sequence is vital, and while I'm not a fan of how most of them are too alike design-wise or just look like an upscaled versions of each other, gameplay-wise there is enough diversity in their behavior and preferable distance to always keep it fresh. Tyranids may at first seem like a mindless fleet of annoying buggers that just really enjoy getting their face splattered on some cold concrete, but some of these uglies know how to shoot a gun. Some pose a great challenge in melee zone, and having 2 of those on your ass can prove quite lethal. Others stay far in the back and excel at being extremely annoying with their fully organic, totally made out of flesh sniper rifles. Raveners crawl on the ground and strike you when you least expect it. Lictors immediately provoke your lock-on mod with their ability to become an invisible, murderous threat. Some of those insects grow to such large scales that a boss bar appears on top of your screen, and almost instinctively you start rolling around the arena like a dumbass. And it wouldn't be a Warhammer game without some chaos involvement. This faction heavily leans in the direction of being fucking annoying from 3 miles away. It's like every single heretic has a long-range gun, with occasional Zangor jumping real close to hug your boot with his ribcage. Every other unit prefers to keep their distance, which will lead to some frustration. Chaos Marines of Thousand Suns introduce an element of rivalry. Loyalists fighting against betrayers like they always do. It's real fun watching them detonate with psychic energy upon their perish, and execute animations, while phenomenal all game around, were especially sensational applied upon Traitor Legion. Their heavier squads of Terminators provide additional challenge in the form of 1,000 rockets humming on your ass, and their sorcerers are like a little mini boss fight, with their ability to bring back fallen brethren in the coolest way possible. But the fight that was a highlight for me would definitely be the one with Hellbrute. His attacks, while as violent as the most coherent shit that flies out of his mouth, feel smooth in the way they are telegraphed. He shakes the ground with every strike, he ragdolls your frame with every hit. If you're out of his range, he just teleports right at you to continue his onslaught. Maybe not even the most challenging out of every boss fight. This one felt like it utilizes all that you have been taught in the best way possible. How you keep shooting if there's the right time for it. How you swing at your foes no matter the size, how you're quick to utilize any given opportunity, and how you keep fighting this battle even when it seems that your enemies are superior. Not a lot of games can that successfully immerse you in fiction, let alone a batshit insane fiction like 40,000. But standing there with your flag risen, getting surrounded by waves of demons and the like, and still not falling back, it's shit like that that makes you go,
"My love of the Imperium is matched only by my hatred for